Welcome back to another Thursday night Drums and Drams live stream. The channel has been busy. Things have been busy. So as you get in here, please hit the like button. That'll help us get some more folks hanging out tonight. And I think it is going to be hopefully hopefully a fun night. And I almost said informative, but I don't know how informative this ever is. It's more like just, throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I hope that it's not only like a fun night, but also that it's going to be a big night because we do have Elijah Craig C923 in the house. This is going to be the first piece of content on YouTube, which is great. I mean, it's great for the channel. The first piece of content on YouTube focused on C923. The only downside to that is that I haven't been able to spend a week with it, getting air in the bottle, tasting it a few different times. This is going to be completely raw first impressions tonight, and I want to be very clear about that. I will have a review video out, hopefully ASAP. I don't know if I'll be the first one with a review video out, because I saw Jason from the Mash and Drum buy a bottle of this on secondary from the same guy I got it from. So these got here today. And I would imagine he's probably shooting his review right now, if I had to guess, because he's always quick on those things, quick to the draw. But that's okay. Either way, it'll be one of the first reviews out, I hope, on the interwebs. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. C923 tonight. We have a lot of other stuff to get to as well. Old Forester Bottled and Bond 117, the newest 117 release. I've got a Heaven Hill Select stock we may or may not get into. I think we will, though. And then I got one of these because I had to. 2023. I have a sample of a different barrel. So we're going to do a little barrel consistency test between my barrel and the one that Joe W. from the live chat sent back in June. So that's kind of the plan for tonight. Little Blanton's Gold sample from William Molnar in the chat. That's going to be cool because Sarah and I always talk about our horrible Blanton's Gold experience. Devastating experience that we had where we literally poured a bottle because it tasted like urine. We talked about that last week. All right. Couple more quick things at the beginning of this stream while I get a little Eagle Rare store pick poured out here from William Molnar. He sent one of his picks, and he knows that I like to start the streams with these. So thank you, man. One more thing. I said the channel's been busy. I just wanted to run down the most recent things that I've put out because I'm excited. I'm also proud, to be back and be consistent. It makes me feel good that I'm seeing the kind of the fruits of my labor, if drinking is laborious, But it is nice to see people enjoying some of the videos, getting great, constructive criticism. But today I just put the Maker's Mark Cellar Aged review out maybe about 2 hours ago. We've got a new series called Whiskey Ware. We're going to have some more episodes of that coming. The Jack Daniel's 12 review, the Virtue Spirits review that I did. And then on Tuesday night, we did a little blind flight, 6-pour flight, which was fun. I've got K-Luke recorded, the batch 4 or 5, whichever one I have the sample of. That review's done. Thomas Handy's done. What's the other one? Old Charter. I haven't edited that one yet. That was going to be interesting. So yeah, good times, man. Good times. Let me say hello to some of you. Let's get a few more folks in here. I'm going to put the newest Elijah Craig center stage on the table. And then I'll run down tonight's giveaway here in just a second. But let me know what you're sipping on tonight. Hit that like button as you come in. Cheers from me to you with a little Eagle Rare store pick from William Molnar. Solid. Very good. Ooh. Nice little something on the back end. Right after you swallow. Nice little pop of something extra sweet in there, William. Yeah, interesting. A little different than the one that I'm normally sipping on. All right, we got Nick in here. What's up, dude? Patrick Corrigan says, love the content lately. Great job. Thank you. Let me turn this off here. I don't want my headphones to kick over to my phone, but I want to unpin my message. There we go. Cool. Thank you so much, Patrick. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to get back into it. KCD, cheers all. Sipping some Jack Daniel's 23 Heritage Rye. I'm so curious about that bottle. Matt Porter, I watched his review of that. I told myself I wasn't going to do it until I tasted it. But then I watched it last night after recording my Maker's review. Yeah, Matt was kind of lukewarm on that one, at best, it seems like. Looking forward to September releases and that C923. I can't wait to taste it tonight. Michael S., good evening. Good evening. Yeah, we do still have a few more hours till it's even legally allowed to be C923 season. John Cloud, quoting my Maker's video here. Yeah, maybe not a good idea to release that just before a live stream, but go check it out if you haven't. In any case, if you want to click away from the live stream and just go drop a like on that video, that would not be the worst thing. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate all of you. And Jeff Perkins, good to see you. Yeah, William says I was peeing again. I literally was. I was on Patreon live stream just for like 20 minutes before this, and I'm like, I got to go pee, guys. John Cloud. Ooh, I had the Michter's 10 in my hands and passed. Oof. The 2022s weren't very good, though. I haven't had a 23 yet. The 21s were excellent. 18s, very good. Like, the 22 is not great, though, so I'm hoping the 23s got better. I'm going to keep scrolling. Everything but whiskey last week, says Will. Let's see. Going to keep scrolling. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'll catch up with you, later in the chat. Aiden says, I get urine off a lot of BT products, especially Weller 12. I don't get it on the Weller, but high corn content and the steam heat cycle they use is my guess, because half their whiskey tastes like wet paper. The wet paper, you know what? Like ancient age definitely tastes like wet paper. I'll totally agree with you there. Bourbon Retriever, you should consider comparing C923 against Pirate bottles. Maybe. It depends on how it goes tonight, because for me, the Pirate bottles have nothing to do with age. And let me explain myself before I, jump off the deep end. The Pirate bottles are just such a different profile. I think there is older whiskey in there. But even today, if you take older Heaven Hill stocks, it doesn't taste like the Pirate bottles, because it's just old school stuff, in parentheses, because it's really not that old. But it has that old school flavor profile. So for me, it's like, if this doesn't get close to that old school profile, there'd be no reason in my mind to compare it to a Pirate bottle, because the end comparison is going to be, let's say they're both good. Well, they're both good, but they're just different, So we'll see, I guess. Yeah, Casey, sucks that the Maker's going to be like Jack 12. Hard to find. Okay, I got to talk about the giveaway, because we're getting super chats coming in now. Oh, man, that's a good store pick. Good Eagle Rare store pick. Tonight's sample pack giveaway is going to be 8 1-ounce samples. Let me actually restate that. 7 1-ounce samples and 1 2-ounce sample. Okay, let me run it down for you. 2 ounces C923, so the brand new C923. These sample packs are going to ship out tomorrow. All right, so this stuff is going to get here. You're going to be able to taste C923 and make an informed decision if you see it in your area by the time it drops. So these sample packs are going to ship out tomorrow. I just want to be clear about that. And everybody that won last week, Patreon that I just drew for, everything, I think I'm shipping 80 samples tomorrow. So that's just insane. That's the most I've ever done in one day, I've got to say. I almost went through an entire glass bottle outlet box of sample bottles in one day. All right, so this is going to go out tomorrow. Michter's 10 in the sample pack, 1 ounce of the 2023. It's going to be 1 ounce of Old Forester 117 bottled and bond, 9-year. 1 ounce of Heaven Hill Select Stock 9-year malt whiskey, which hopefully we get to tonight. Very cool stuff. There's going to be two bottles that I don't have yet. They're going to get here tomorrow. They were supposed to get here tonight. I'm sorry that they're not here tonight. A lot of my packages got delayed today. Baker's 13, Jack Daniel's 10 Batch 2. 1 ounce of each of those. And the last part of the giveaway is going to be 1 ounce of A123, B523, 2 ounces of C923. So that's a lot to kind of go through. I will throw in a couple extra goodies in there. I always try to throw in a few goodies if I can, if I have room in the box. So that's 8 samples of what I'm drinking tonight. The Baker's 13, the Jack 10 batch 2, and then a couple extra goodies. That's the giveaway tonight. So if you want to get in, feel free. If you don't, we've been doing a lot of giveaways, a lot of sample packs, I understand, but you know, it's just a good way to get more whiskey in people's hands. And if you guys want to support the channel along the way, it's cool with me. If not, no worries. I sincerely appreciate all your support week in and week out on all that stuff. Amy, I'm going to track giveaways tonight. Yeah, I'm going to track giveaways tonight. There was a couple things that happened last week because of just miscommunication of me getting them on Venmo and PayPal. And it's like, I want to be sure that everybody's in there correctly. So, or maybe Amy, we could split it half and half. Maybe you could do, in the chat and I can do all the Venmo PayPal stuff. That might be the easiest way. So, all right, cool. Patrick Corrigan, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Let's see. Regular Jake sipping on an Elijah Craig 10-year private barrel. I hope it's a good one. Those are so hit or miss. Hit that like button. We got 78 in here. More people coming in right now. Scott says shelves full of B523 here in Mississippi. I got to catch up on the chat, guys. Give me just a second. Jeb. Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking that out. And thank you, Rick, for the comments on the Maker Cellar. Andrew, no whiskey tonight. Feeling under the weather. Might pass out during the live stream. Cheers. Cheers, man. I hope you feel better. Sorry about that. All right. So I see Amy's in the spreadsheet for the giveaways and stuff. Amy, how do you feel about that? Doing splitting it. You do the things in there, and I'll do the Venmo stuff. How do you feel about that? Or is that going to complicate things? Yeah, System Trend. We got C923 tonight. Mark in for a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Haven't seen C923 yet. All of a sudden, there's been a lot of B523 hitting the shelf. Yeah, I'm not a fan of B523, although we'll see tonight. I'm going to put all three next to each other. Hope I can survive this evening. John Cloud says a couple stores in Columbus had Jack 12 today. Man, I wish I got out to, like, hunt a little bit, but I just gave up in Columbus. Just gave up. Okay, thank you, Amy. For some reason, I'll have to just keep updating here. There we go. Cool. Aiden, I've had decent luck on this channel before. Thanks, man. All right, let's get into this. Venmo, if you guys want to go direct to Venmo or PayPal for the super chat entries, it's in the description of the video. All right. What are we going to start with? We're not going to go Elijah Craig just yet. I know. But the proof is so high, I want to be ready for it. So let's get into this first. Let's go Old Forester Bottled in Bond 9-year from the 117 series. Date on this, July 2023, so I know I'm a month late. Apologies. We've put a little dent in this bottle already, if that tells you anything. Sarah enjoys it. Took it to a friend's house on Monday night. The friend that gave me this Heaven Hill Select stock. Everybody there enjoyed the 117, so that was good news. Okay. Guys, I'll get to the Venmo Super Chats all at once in just a little bit. I don't like to go back and forth on that too much because it just gets a little hectic for me. So I will catch you in just a second. But Rick Moreland, thank you, man. Would love to sample these. Well, Amy's going to get you guys in on the public side of things, and I'll do all the Venmo stuff. And, obviously we'll do it transparently at the end of the stream. Okay. So let me know in the chat if you guys have tried this 117 Bottled in Bond. Spring of 2014. All right, so I'm getting menthol and vanilla frosting on the nose here. This is an Old Forester product, so typically what I would expect would be kind of bright cherry banana type stuff. But what I get first and foremost on this is a little bit of like I said menthol vanilla, almost like a snickerdoodle cookie. Some sort of cookie kind of note in here. Yeah, it's dark. Like this, because it's 9-year-old Forester, and when you start talking about 9-year stuff, you're in the realm of President's Choice. You know, you're in the realm of you're getting close to birthday bourbon, although I'm sure the barrel selection on those things is vastly different than what they selected for this. Those kinds of notes, that dark molasses thing, you talk about it on Jack 12, also being a Brown-Forman product, President's Choice, King of Kentucky. This has that note. It's not quite as strong, not quite as kind of syrupy and pronounced, I guess, because you are getting these slightly brighter notes in here, that vanilla, that menthol. And I said snickerdoodle cookie. I might be more like gingerbread, pie crust, something like that. Yeah, I'm going to go gingerbread on this. I think that's what it is. Dunny, hey, man. Glad you're back. Thanks, Dunny. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Get you in the giveaway there. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you. Randy Livingston, cheers to you with my first sip of this 117 bottled and bond. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good whiskey. You know, oh, man, it ramps up. There's a second wave. It's like second breakfast. Yeah. So I really wanted this stuff to taste like President's Choice. And somebody in the chat last week said it, and I'm going to steal it right now. I don't know who it was. You can claim it, please. Vice President's Choice. This is Vice President's Choice right here. Very good. The only thing it lacks is a little bit of sweetness, I think. Like there's one element of sweetness that's not here that I think President's Choice has. But otherwise, top to bottom, this thing's great. And the fruit notes in Old Forester, typically bright cherry, bright banana. Much darker in here. It's more like dried fruit, more like dried kind of black cherry, little bit of a dried plum type thing. William says, why is it the 117 series? Is it the address on Whiskey Row? Is it the address of the building, maybe? I can't remember. I should know that. Yeah, it doesn't say. I don't know if any of the other ones say behind me. JG with the Lord of the Rings reference. Thank you, Jay. Amy, Cam's a smart guy, knows better than to trust me. No, Amy, if you get in my Venmo account, you're going to go, oh, Jesus, you're spending money on whiskey. Clay, is there an average age for Old Forester? I can't remember, Clay. I want to say it's like 5 and 6. Let's say 4 to 6. I believe that some of the Blue Label barrel strength single barrels that come out, the bourbons, I think those are 5. I think 6 is generous on some of those. Let me know if you guys know in the chat. I mean, because they're at least 4, because none of them age state under 4 years. And they're called Kentucky Straight Bourbon, so. There you go. Travis has got it. 117 West Main. There we go. Oh, and Derek said it too. William, well, it looks like no learning tonight. I can only do what I can do, man. Bubble Bath, what's up, dude? Yeah, 4 to 6 sounds about right. Jay. Man, Jay's wasting no time. We're 21 minutes and 30 seconds in, and he's already letting me have it. Jay, I was just thinking about your bald head, dude. What could I say about your bald head? Nothing. It's a good bald head. I got nothing. Regular Jake. All right, I'm going to go back in for more of this 117 series. Wow. That tasted like, oh my God. I know exactly what this tastes like. The, like if you guys just get like plain ass cake, white cake, but that frosting on the top, cake frosting, this tastes like that. I mean, it's not like a hint of it. It tastes exactly like it to me. That and gingerbread and molasses. These are like food notes. I don't know if I'm hungry or something. This is all food notes for me. Almost like fig spread, fig jam. God, that is some good stuff. All right. I have one backup of that. And I'll tell you what, at $50 per half bottle, I know that's not the cheapest thing in the world. That is a very good deal for the quality of whiskey you're getting here. I mean, you're essentially, if you scale it up to 100 per bottle, full size, you're paying just over $10 a year for heat-cycled stuff that drinks way above its age. Fantastic. I don't know if it's better than Whiskey Row Fire. Let's see. Guys, I see some Venmos coming in and PayPals. I just want to say thank you. I will shout those out and call you guys out in just a bit. I appreciate it, and I'll get to you guys in just a second. I want to do it all at once, just to keep things moving on the stream, you know? Now, Whiskey Row Fire, this was released last July, 2022, and the barrels were filled July of 15. So this is only 7 years old compared to the 9-year Bottled and Bond that I'm drinking. Both at the exact same proof, 100 proof. This is gonna be a close one, a toss up. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, buttercream frosting. There you go. Joe, not like plain ass cake. Like, it's I feel like buttercream frosting though, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is like very good frosting. What is like the cheap frosting? You know, you go to like a supermarket and you get just a cake with like kind of some cheap frosting. Oh, here's a better one actually for that note, which would be the. I promise it's not as bad as it sounds. When you get those really generic cookies that like come in the pre-packaged container, the plastic container that you have to rip the label and then pop it open. It's kind of like something you'd find in a cafeteria with like the white frosting on the very heavily processed cookies. The taste of that like kind of like dry but very, very sickly sweet frosting in that dry cookie. That's kind of the thing that I'm getting on the Bottled and Bond, but it's whiskey, so it's in a good way. Dang. Jay, knock on wood. This is not even wood, this table. This is just something from Amazon. Jay, people in my family don't go bald, so I got to knock on the most wood for that. But full head of hair, man. I think I'm doomed with that, or blessed with that till I die. Although I'm still going gray on this side. I'm not into the just for men stuff yet, but maybe sooner than I'd like. All right, on the nose, back and forth. Here's in my right hand, on your left side is the Bottled and Bond, and then Whiskey Row Fire. Whiskey Row Fire might take that. Even 2 years younger. Which just has to be barrel selection. Yeah, little more like intensity on the Whiskey Row Fire than the Bottled and Bond. A little more cinnamon. The Bottled and Bond is sweeter, a little more relaxed and smoothed out on the nose. The Whiskey Row Fire a little more aggressive to it. But there's also something more oaky about the Whiskey Row Fire. It does taste a little younger, but there's on the top end, but there's more oak on the bottom end. So in the same way I talked about the maker's stuff in the video just a couple hours ago, I talked about like a stratified profile. I kind of get that in the Whiskey Row Fire, where there's really kind of younger notes and very old notes in the same whiskey. Whereas I think this Bottled and Bond is much just darker all the way around, a little more relaxed from age. Just like Jay. Here we go, Jay. I'm going to warm up on you, dude. That kind of sounded weird. Royal icing, says Michael. Okay. Aiden says, cheap frosting is typically just milk and powdered sugar. That's good to know. I'm going to keep scrolling. Clay, reheat cycling. Would this not be considered artificially pushing maturation? Guess it's not a big deal, but it bugs me. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. Jeb, as a guy with a full head of hair, I'll never make a comment about a bald head because that day could be looking around the corner. Don't need that bad juju. Jeb, I know. If I start going bald, though, I'm just going to shave it. I'm just going to give up and shave it. I know I'm not going to hang on. I'm just going to let it go. Andrew, not the animal crackers. No, but like the cheap-ass cookies, you know? Yeah, maybe... oh, no, pink and white frosting. You're still talking about animal crackers. Yeah, there you go, Will. William. Frosting is like pizza. Even bad version, still pretty good. Yeah. I'll take a keep sponsorship, Jay, as long as I don't have to actually start going bald. Don't... Oh, Joe will not let me escape. Joe, I'm going to just start making up tasting notes completely on the opposite side of this to get out of this one. All right, they're both really good. It would be hard for me to pick a favorite. I'd have to do that blind. I'd have to do it blind, so I'm not going to pick a favorite on that, but old Forster 117 Bottled and Bond, this is an instant buy. In my opinion, I'd say if you found this half bottle, I think it's probably Kentucky only, maybe even distillery only. If you saw this at 75 even, not just 50, I'd probably buy it at 75. Up to 75. I think it is that good. It's like some of the best Old Forester you're going to get outside of Birthday Bourbon, President's Choice, King of Kentucky, which is technically Brown-Forman, not Old Forester, I guess. Michael. Hey, Michael, I saw that post. I saw that a little earlier today. I was in the middle of doing a bunch of stuff. Tried to send this picture from the early 1900s of Ernest Hemingway. You guys look the same. I actually saw that, and usually when people are like, oh, everybody has the doppelgangers, right? And so I've gotten, the one that I typically get is the guy from The Winter Soldier. I can't remember his name. Bucky, I think is the name of the show. And I could see that, I guess. But the Hemingway thing was kind of interesting. I was like, I could see why you're saying that. Not all the way, but I could see it. So that's kind of funny. I'm like the great value vanilla cookie of Ernest Hemingway, you know, in that picture that you sent. Lefty31, thank you for the super chat. Epic samples. That belt looks great back there. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be put to the test whenever we do the champions match. I'm excited for that. Sebastian Stan, says regular Jake. That's his name. All right. I don't have much Whiskey Row Fire left, so I do have to pour this one back. I won't pour back the Bottled and Bond because I'm going to sample that bottle out. Okay. Mike Whitaker. $10 super chat. Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody that's super chatted so far tonight. I'll get to the Venmos here in just a second, actually. Good to see you back in the saddle again and enjoying the channel, sipping on a Sagamore Sherry Finish Rye, which is a great bottle. I've had it once and I wasn't a fan, and then I had it again and I loved it in a blind. So I'm gonna go with I love it. So that's great, Mike. Cheers, dude. Thanks for that. I'll finish this Bottled and Bond. All right. Let's make a little room. And VG, in for 10. Thank you. Cheers to you right back. That was my last pour. We'll get into something else here in just a sec. Let's do the Elijah Craig next. Let's do C923 next. The palate is primed. It's ready to go. Haven't had too much alcohol to not, feel confident in what I'm going to say about it. Keith, I love it, man. Oh, yeah. Team Sean, says William. Yeah. Okay, let's get to these Venmo super chats, guys, as I pour out. Nope. Here it is. C923, which, by the way, C923, 133 proof. We are finally back in the 130s. And look, I don't care what the proof is if it's good whiskey. Like B519, which was 61.1% or 122.2 proof, people gave that bottle a lot of crap because it was so low. That's a great batch of Elijah Craig barrel proof. So don't be like a proof snob just to be a proof snob. But the fact that we've had a lot of lackluster lower proof batches, I'm excited to see 133 hitting here. And the star of the show with batch C923 is that it's 13 years, 7 months stated on the label. All right. So by age statements, it's the oldest Elijah Craig barrel proof to ever be released, if you want to think of it that way. We got 92 in here. Thank you all for being here. We're getting into C923 right now. Please, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, that would be awesome. Be a great way to support the channel. Let me do a couple of Venmo super chats, guys. I want to read these out and give them their credit and thank them. So Michael Schneider. I got to zoom in here, Amy. I got to zoom in on this sheet so I can see it on my teeny little computer monitor. Michael Schneider in for 3. I got you, man. Lucky 3 entries for he put it in quotes, epic sample pack. Thanks, man. I hope it's epic. I actually just left that on the graphic from the last couple weeks. That's my bad. Jeff Perkins, let me get you in here. He says, amazing giveaway tonight. Jeff, I got you in for 2 entries. Thank you so much. Keith Thompson, I see your super chat came through on Venmo. I got you in for 4. Keith says, when you get your package, give an honest review. It won't hurt my feelings. Hope you enjoy. All right, Keith, I'm looking forward to it. William Molnar, man, in for 10 entries. That's amazing. Thank you. Cheers to that. Let me just go ahead and take a sip of Elijah Craig C923. I'm not going to react. Not yet. Thank you, William. 10 entries. I got you. Marshall Conoco, in for 2. Thank you, Marshall. And Robert Gallegos. Robert Gallegos. I hope I say that right. Robert is in for 1. Thank you, Robert. He's through the Admit 1 ticket up there. Appreciate it, guys. And I think I'm good on PayPal. I don't think I have anything in PayPal. So let's do this now. Elijah Craig C923. Thank you all so much for the super chats tonight. That is awesome. Amy, I'll send you some. I've got other stuff coming your way already, Amy, so let me just make a note. Send Amy C923 2 ounces. Okay, that'll be in with the other samples that I'm sending you. I still have like 15 sample bottles to work with, so we're good. We're good. But William Molnar is going to contribute to the sample bottle fund. All right, let's do this. Let's change up the music. Same style, but just a different playlist. And let's get into C923 before we do a comparison to the other batches from this year. All right, so on the nose of C923, it smells extremely dense. So that's a good sign. Still, in my mind, when I think, this 13 years, 7 months thing, I thought, hey, maybe we're going to get a little tinge of that older whiskey kind of slightly dusty thing going on. I don't get it on the nose. And at this point, while I am upset, just kind of generally speaking, that Elijah Craig Barrel Proof's profile has just completely shut off from that after C920. It was such a strange truncation of dusty notes. C920, boom, we're done. A121, no more of that old school vibe. I don't know why. I'm kind of over it now. I'm trying to move on and accept A121 until now as being what I would just call modern Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. All things considered, with that in mind, this smells really good for that style. And when I say dense, I just mean full-bodied, full-flavored. Yes, it's 133 proof. Yes, there's a little ethanol sting on the nose. But it's not an unsubstantiated ethanol sting. It's not alcohol for alcohol's sake. It's big alcohol, but right underneath it is big flavor. A120 system trend, I will give you that. Like C922 to A123, there was this little bit of something in there that reminded me of that. I will give you that. But I mean, like, fully fledged dustiness is not there anymore, for sure. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, guys, please hit that like button. All right, so I would say where I'm at with this, there's a little roasted nut in there, as you'd expect. And it's really, really like sticky, sweet caramel, but a little burnt aspect to it. So some of these Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs modern bottles have this little burntness to them. The worst of all was B521. This has a tinge of burntness to the caramel and to this orange note that I'm getting, this caramelized orange. But it's just a caramel monster of a whiskey. It's not overtly sweet. Like, there's not a big vanilla note or something to kind of balance out how big and dense and rich this thing is. And oddly enough, I was just talking about molasses on the Old Forester Bottled and Bond. This has also a molasses note to it, which is not something that I typically get from Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I think it makes this a little unique. It's in that molasses kind of tar almost range. Not quite in the same way as Old Forester, which is a very distinct note, but nonetheless, I'm gonna say molasses on this. Oh, pecan pie. There you go, pecan pie filling. Wow. Okay. It's on the verge of being too proofy. Or too, let's not say proofy. Let's say the combination of proof and spice. That ramp up, that peak of when it hits you. That peak is almost uncomfortable. It's on the verge. Proof hounds are going to love this bottle. And there is like and that peak is sharp. It really is. There's not a big second wave like the Old Forester Bottled and Bond had a second wave to it. This one is more just like it ramps all the way up, it smacks you, and it just starts to ramp down. Very kind of pointed and then a smooth decay on, the intensity scale on the palate, I guess. I like it. I really like this. I'm not going to say that I love it. I think it is a really great barrel proof whiskey. I have to compare it next to A123 because I know that I loved A123. The proof will be a big difference here of, let's just call it 8 proof points. It's about 7.4. I want to see that comparison. B523 we'll throw in there, but I just didn't really care for that bottle so much, although maybe it'll shock me tonight. I really like this. There's not a lot about it that's refined. But I think at this point, many of us are probably just ready for a big, intense batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I think that is kind of good enough, even for, for me right now. I'm not complaining. For you guys, I hope you would feel the same. I mean, you can complain that this is not the most refined whiskey, but I think that's okay, given the context. Yeah, Jake, this will not sit on shelves the same way. There's no way, even if the batch is the same size. Jay says looks really dark. You know what? That sip that I just took was very good. I don't know if it's sitting out because it's sitting out or because I'm just acclimating. I'm getting so much oak now. Okay, I think I like this. I think I like this batch a lot. Okay, but a little grassy on the back end. You know me. You know I can't deal with that. It's very slight. It's about as slight as some of the grassiness on Joseph Magnus cigar blends, where I love the profile so much that I forgive that little bit of grassiness on the back end. Same with George T. Stagg 2022. I know people grilled me on that. I still like the whiskey. It's just that little grassiness. All right, let's do a comparison. First, I'm just going to do A123. Maybe we'll throw B523 in, but maybe we won't, because I kind of want to have more liver space tonight for other whiskeys. Need just a smidge more. There. Okay. So on your left is going to be C923, and on your right is A123. Jay says, let's call it 8th, and Cam does the math. Jay, you caught that. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, why did I say that? If I'm just going to do it, just do it. Okay. Bob Nichols, thank you for the super chat. In for 2. Amy's gotcha. Sipping on a Michter's American, my first bottle of Michter's. Bob, that's a great one to start with, man. You know, the really cool thing about Michter's is that even in the core range, between the small batch bourbon, the single barrel rye, the sour mash, and the American, all 4 of those are such incredibly different profiles that on one hand, you can't drink one and then the other and say, like, oh, they both taste like a Michter's product, because there's really not a big connection between them, because they're all different styles of whiskey. You have this bourbon, you have rye, the American whiskey, which is... guys, remind me why the American is called American. Is it aged and used cooperage? And then the sour mash. But anyways, like, you can't develop a characteristic style for you to recognize Michter's on that core range. I actually like that about it, because from a marketing standpoint, it's smart. 4 vastly different products, you got to collect them all. You know, you can't just say, oh, well, this one's good enough to account for the rest of them. It's really not, because they're all so different. And they're all really good, in my opinion. I think the sour mash is great. It's like a little banana bread type thing. Very interesting oak funk on that. The American that you're sipping on is just a vanilla bomb. The bourbon is a little bit more of like this rough around the edges. This kind of like a carrot cake, coffee cake vibe to it. And then the rye is just kind of it's just a really nice rye with some banana, some mint, some little bit of dill, but not very much. Herbal. It's good, but also sweet. Keith, I'm going to plead the 5th on this until after this Elijah Craig, I'll sip the Maker's Cellar Aged. I have a little bit of this sample left from Jacob. I don't know if Jacob's in chat tonight, but I'll go back to this sample and sip it live and see what happens. I don't know about top 5 for the year, but I can tell you what is in my top 5 for the year, and probably my top whiskey of the year so far. I mean, it's only August. Lots of year to go, and lots of whiskeys I haven't tried and won't try, unfortunately. Okay. Let's do this comparison. So I'm going to go to A123 now, which is, let me remind everybody, 125.6. 125.6 up against C923's 133. The proof is going to be a big difference here. A123 is just this dark fruit. Oh my God, it's just grape and plum. I think that's what I said about it before too. It's so just sweet, dark fruit. Wrapped up in like a caramel oak blanket. Still intense though, still like a little stinging on the nostrils, even at the lower proof. Oh my God. That's still a great batch. Okay. All right. So now on to C923. Let's see what this is like side by side. Wow. The nose, it's just two completely different animals. I'm kind of happy about that. I'm happy that we've kind of broken away and we're just going in a very extreme direction with C923. Weirdly enough, when you do these side by side, it makes A123 have a little bit of a cardboard smell to it, which I never got before. But next to C923, it just has a weird cardboard note. But C923, it's just so intense on the nose. Palate too. Let's go back in for that. Man, it's on the verge of being too hot, but it is good. If you just want one of the best available down the middle traditional profiles of Kentucky bourbon, just straight up caramel and oak and spice at barrel proof with a humongous mouthfeel, C923 is going to be your jam. I would like to keep nerding out about this, but I'm going to be too drunk if I just keep sipping on these for the next 45 minutes. If you see C923, buy. Get 3 of them, you know? Maybe 2. Maybe get 2 of them. Because I think the availability on this, it's not going to sit on shelves, but these batches seem to be getting bigger. And variety is good. You know, if you have a couple of A123s bunkered or C922s or just even older than that, yeah, grab 2 of these C923s. If you see it at SRP, grab 3. If you're going to pay above, if you're going to go to $100, $110, buy 2. It is worth $10 a year. I hate to say that, but it is. Like, if I went into a store and I saw this, I'm not going to go up to maybe slightly under $10 a year. If I saw this between $100, $115, I'd probably buy it. Once you get closer to $150, I don't know about that. Because you could go, you know, local secondary, let's say, local secondary group and buy a B520 or, you know, something else maybe around that price. Lefty 31, when I'm talking fresh cut grass, when I say grassy, I say fresh cut grass. If I was talking lemongrass, I'd probably make more of a comment just about like a citrus or a lemon note. Oh, what's up? Guy with a super chat says, awesome to see you've been live more. Missed the last few. Glad I was able to join tonight. Likewise, I'm glad you're here, man. Thank you for the $10 super chat and getting in on the giveaway, supporting the channel. Much appreciated, Guy. Let's go back and forth one more time. Yeah, not as overtly sweet on the C923 as A123 is. Some of that is the proof being higher, and some of that is just the intensity of the profile. It's almost a little savory. There's so much oak and so much caramel that it almost comes off in a kind of savory way. But I'll tell you what, the first sip of it shocks your palate. The second sip is great. Very good. All right. So each giveaway winner tonight, there'll be 2 will win 2 ounces of this. And then Amy's going to get some of this as well. So that's awesome. And I'm probably going to have to get a backup. Yeah. I'm going to do a quick blend. C923 and A123. I'm not even putting B523 in here. I didn't think it was good. I will maybe at some point do a blind of those 3. But tonight's not the night for that. We have so much whiskey to taste tonight. And I got to do Blanton's Gold too. So I got to work my way back down from this 133 proof. Brandon Lincoln, hey. Cheers to you, man. Catch me up, please. Somebody catch up Brandon. Ron, just box up a couple fastballs and a few curveballs. You should have them in the latter part of next week. Hope you and your family have an awesome holiday weekend. Thank you, man, and you too. And I appreciate you sending that stuff over. Cheers with a little blend of A123 and C923, which doesn't work very well on the nose. But the palate does. Very leathery, tangy oak. Worth trying. That is worth trying on the palate. 50-50 blend of C923 and A123. Give it a go once you guys get some C923. Mike, I'll go grab the bottle. I'm not going to taste it. I'm just want to go easy tonight. All right. So just, yeah. C919 to me, even higher proof, 136.8. It's got that dusty note to it. It's very cherry forward for me. Yeah, it's a combination of cherry and like that old school butterscotch note that you get on Dusties. Whereas, the C923 from tonight is more down the middle, just caramel syrup, humongous cinnamon notes, just more classic, I guess. So Rick, have you had 1792 foolproof? And if so, what are your thoughts? I think it's great. I think if you can get a barrel pick, go for that. The other releases, like the batched releases, tend to be a little sharper on, well, the nose and the palate. I had to pause because I saw Amy. I saw what she typed in the giveaway sheet. Yeah. It's good. Rick, it's good. It's worth buying at SRP, 40, 50, 55 bucks, whatever it is. But get a barrel pick if you can, because I've had some 1792 foolproof picks that can go toe-to-toe with some heavy hitter whiskeys. Amy, I am with you all the way. This is what I've been feeling. As I just, on nights that I'm not live, not filming now, if I'm going to just sit down and have a pour, all I'm reaching for now is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So I would not be sad if that was the only option out there. Paul P says, yeah, and Tim was talking about Wegmans. When I lived in Rochester, I definitely got familiar with Wegmans. Regular Jake, still don't know how you're under 5K subs. Inconsistency, man. It's my own fault. One of the best out there. I had a couple opportunities on the channel to like if you want to look at the analytics, where I could have really ramped up, and every time I fell away because life and things got in the way. But right now, I'm in one of those moments again, and I'm very confident that things are different this time. in terms of how much time I have to put into the channel right now. So you can see that just with how many videos I'm getting out and all that kind of good stuff. It's very exciting. I'm getting some funny comments on the Maker's Mark review, it looks like. Okay. JG, I almost forgot to get in. Whiskey cheers. 877 mash now, dude. Big Win says, neck tag on that C919. You don't see that anymore. You really don't. I'll pour some. C919. C919 and A117. Those are my two favorite batches. Just a little smidge. Guys, we have 120 in here tonight. That's pretty awesome. Especially because last week we had a lot of folks in here, but Sarah was here, so I know she's the looks of the operation. And I'm just the rambler. So the fact we have 120 and I'm here by myself, I don't know what's going on, but thank you for being here. Seriously. Yes. Oh, man, C919. Guys, I'm telling you, if they made Elijah Craig barrel proof like this still, I don't think we understood how good we had it 4 years ago. Oh, my God. I think that's got to be the best batch. I love A117. C919 has to be the best batch. It has everything. Do you guys know the Stefan skit from SNL? When he says, it has everything. Sorry, that's an old Bill Hader reference. John Cloud, thank you. In for 10. In it to try some C923 in Michter's 10 year. Thank you, John. Amy's gotcha. And Drew Tucker is in the house. Guys, so let me digress very quickly. It's Not a Xylophone is kind of the mantra / brand of Drew Tucker, who is commenting, who sent the super chat. Drew's a great vibes player. And Drew and I guess I've probably known Drew for 6 or 7 years, since I was in grad school. So 2016, 2017, we probably got in touch over Instagram. But Drew's a great vibraphone player, guys. So check out what he's doing on It's Not a Xylophone Instagram. He's got a website. And anyways, last year at this big percussion conference that we have every year, we ended up in the room with some pretty insane musicians. I think it was in my hotel room, actually. I brought a bunch of whiskeys out there, and the drummer from Snarky Puppy, if you guys know Sput Seawright, and Nate Worth, these guys were just like in the room hanging out with us with a bunch of, I would call myself a percussion nerd. I wouldn't call Drew that. Drew's a little cooler than that. Not much cooler, but a little cooler. We ended up in the room with some crazy people that night, and it was just a really cool hang. So shout out to Drew, and go give him a follow if you guys, want to check out some cool music and stuff. The real question is, what are you bringing? Okay, I didn't even read the comment before I started just monologuing about you, dude. What are you bringing to PASIC? Probably a lot of things you see right now. Yeah, because this year at the convention, I'm not playing, so that means it's just going to be a raucous hang for like 4 days. Just some real rabble-rousing at PASIC. Roy Trammell says, how's the Larceny B523? It's good. It's very good. I don't think it's C922 level, but it's very good. East, any plans to do Patreon picks? Yes. I just want to make sure that if we do one, that I can sell it out. That's really the important part for me. So I have not pushed the Patreon at all, because I won't push the Patreon. I won't ask people to jump in and subscribe until I'm doing enough on Patreon to feel like I have earned that. Give me 1 sec, guys. Sarah just got home. I want to make sure everything's okay. for like 2 hours. Okay. There's probably like preservatives in it. God, I left the guac. I left the guac out on the counter, dude. I ordered tacos right before the stream, and I got some guac, and I left it out on the counter. And Sarah was like, I just put your guac in the fridge. God. It's probably okay. It's been 2 hours, but it's probably okay. It was covered. Maybe. Was it sealed? Ah. Oh. It wasn't sealed. Yeah. Whatever, dude. Johnny says bring back the eye candy. Well, she's home now. Amy. Okay, let me remind you guys. Thank you for that, Amy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Who am I missing? I'm going to get to the Venmo Super Chats real quick. Guys, thank you. I can't believe there's 122 people in here right now. I'm going to just get 2 Venmo Super Chats, it looks like, and say thank you to these guys. Andrew Surfling. Gotcha. Andrew Surfling is in for 4. Thank you, man. Hope you're feeling better. Jump the gun on Tuesday. Appreciate the back and forth recently. Truly, thank you much. Fingers crossed for tonight. And fingers crossed for you as well, man. All right. And now William Molnar in for 10 more. What are you doing, Will? Dude, you are way too generous, man. Thank you. Picked up an 11.5-year Elijah Craig 94 proof pick and a 15-year, 10-month Knob Creek pick. Yeah, that's a freaking mail day. Dude, let me know how that Knob Creek is if you crack it open, because I've only had I think I've maybe had a little over 15 years, but 15 years, 10 months is awesome. Yeah. Man, that C919. Unbelievable. All right, we have a lot more whiskey to get to, actually. Thank you, Joe, for jumping in. Cheers to your future. I have thought about this, actually. So, got to figure that one out. Yeah. All right. Anyways, thanks, Joe, for bringing the mood down. Joe, in for 4. Thanks, dude. Oh, goodness. Okay. Make sure we're not missing anything here. Okay, I think we're good. Let me check this out. Jacob, what's up, man? The star of the hour here, as I'm gonna get into this this Makers. I think I might do Blanton's Gold first, though. Now that Sarah's home, let me see if I can twist her arm and coming in here. Hey, you want to jump on real quick? Have you brushed your teeth? Oh! Because I got a sample of Blanton's Gold. No, but it's probably a better barrel. All right. Wow. She says she's never trying Blanton's Gold again. Well, I haven't poured it out yet. Hang on.
Let me know.
I'll do it right now. All right. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we just lost 10 people in here. Makes sense. Oh, even more. People are just running away from this. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm like behind on the chat. The cat's meowing. Okay, hang on one sec. I'm just a mess right now. Lucy, come here. Guys, I'm sorry. The whole family's here. I don't know what's going on. She ran. Okay, come here. So here. This is Blanton's Gold. It doesn't smell like pee. Spoiler alert. And then we're going to put it next to some French Blantons. Not to Singapore.
This is Blanton's Gold?
Yeah. That's what it's supposed to smell like. The eye candy's back. Johnny. Who? Yeah. Guys, I'll catch up on the chat in just a second. Our cat's in here just meowing. No. Taste it. Tell me what you think. William, is Blanton's Gold actually... Where'd I put the sample? Is it really 103 proof for Blanton's Gold? Is that real? Oh, dude, why are your hands normal sized?
I don't know. I wasn't supposed to be here.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. Is that a quote from something? Andrew, if you leave guac out too long, it tastes like plain cake. It's the wildest thing. You missed. That's an inside joke. You wouldn't get it.
From when you left the guac out like a minute ago?
Yeah, but also earlier in the stream. And you were out being social.
This does not taste like Blanton's Gold.
I know. Well, Blanton's Gold didn't taste like Blanton's Gold last time. Now go to this. This is the French Blanton's. So this is the wedding bottle, but not exactly. It's the slightly lower proof. This one's a little sweeter, actually, than the gold on the nose. Yeah. All right. This is interesting, guys. I'm going to tell you about it in just a second, but we're just having a little family powwow. Sorry. I love the Stefan skit, Jacob. That's where we left off. Drew says, I brought the artist, you brought the whiskey. Yeah, man. Exactly. Your Huckleberry says, love me some snarky puppy. Mike, I can find a bunch of Larceny 523 in New Jersey for retail. Never seen that much ever. Wow. It's good. That's why it is what it is.
Is this what you were...
That was the Blanton's Gold. And then this is what you just tasted.
Who sent you this?
William Molnar.
Thanks for not peeing in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear someone peed in that. Not that one. The one.
Shit, I got them mixed up.
Oh, I can tell you.
No, I think that's the one that you just had. I think that's the one that you just had.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. Look at that. She nailed it. All right. Back to business. No more family stuff. All right. This table's slowly becoming a disaster. But the best kind of disaster. Like my work-life balance, a disaster. John Cloud at Sarah with an H. Get it right, dude. I'm just kidding. Kidding, not kidding. All right. We're back in it. So it is. I did not realize Blanton's Gold was actually 103. So the French Blantons that I've got here is only 100. So it's lower. Way sweeter. It makes sense to me now with barrel selection and everything. Why these French Blantons, like proof-to-proof comparison on this, within 3 proof points, I understand the appeal between the two. But they're really close. I mean, the Blanton's Gold on the nose, sharp honey. God, it's hard to describe. It's both sharp and sweet. It's just a really light whiskey. The palate is quite sharp on the Blantons. I mean, it just tastes like really good Blantons. It's what I want Blantons to taste like. But the French Blantons at 100, much more kind of dark fruit, grapey, more sweet oak. Yeah, more of like an Eagle Rare sweet oak on the French Blantons in this comparison. And the palate goes the same exact way. So I think Blanton's Gold is really solid. This sample is so much better than the stuff that Sarah and I had, which literally tasted like pee. And the French Blantons shows why these are special, but not special enough to be $750 to $1,000. Not at all. The only reason I would ever pay that, unfortunately, is because it was on the wedding date of Sarah and I. But they're close. They are close. So I do like Blanton's Gold. I'll go there. At the price point, what is Blanton's Gold now? 125 or 150? What do you guys think? Cheech, what's up, dude? Another drummer in the house. And JG, a fellow bald man. Although, you know, Jay, I think Cheech greater than Jay on the bald front, you know. I got nothing, dude. I just wanted to, like, try to make a bald joke. But anyways, Cheech, hey, Cam, I was fortunate enough to pick up the Michter 2023. I'm trying to wait till my live stream next Tuesday to open it. Good luck, man. If you can wait until then, more power to you. It is probably very tough looking at it. I think I'm going to get into that next. Judging by everything on the table, I think that's going to be next. Peter says 110 for the gold, but most are 120 to 140. That's not the worst. I mean, it is remarkably better than normal Blantons. But also, if you go back 3 or 4 years, the normal Blantons was way better than it is today because now they're just cranking these barrels out. They're not very good. I still want to try, like, if I could get 3 to 4 Blanton straight from the barrels and just do like a down the line of those, that would be kind of a cool thing for me because my Blanton straight from the barrel was not good, but I've gotten a sample that's very good. And then I have that Singapore bottle that is unbelievably good. So I've had kind of a range of barrel-proof Blantons, and I wonder if there's like a center point, a reliable median within all of that, where you could say, like, this is what you can expect from Blanton straight from the barrel between these extremes that I've tasted. Casey, no, look, in terms of secondary values, that's about $100. That's about $175 off between the two, if you want to go pure secondary value. So if they're going to offer you a Michter's 10 2023, in terms of taste, yeah, 100% make that trade. If you want to go strict secondary value, they owe you something like a C919 Elijah Craig Barrel Proof in addition, you know. Just depends. Keith, it's going for about $385-ish with shipping. Secondary on the Michter's 10. Peter, I bet that, yes. Blanton straight from the barrel, 2016, I can only imagine is very good before the COVID boom. We blinded Blanton's Gold at Whiskey Weekend Batch 4. It was really good, but the room basically thought it wasn't worth the money. Yeah, that sounds right. The money is the hard part on that one. Now, if regular Blantons had better barrels and was still 65 MSRP all day, you know, but the barrels now suck. Yeah. I missed the super chat. Alan Mack. Sorry to miss that. And thank you for $10 super chat here. Good collection of bottles tonight. Yeah. Pretty decent collection for this evening's stream. I was surprised. Some things fell through and some things came together. So here we are. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat, guys. 116 people right now are going, what is he doing? I'm so sorry. I'm just going back to make sure I didn't miss anything. William says, Cam, I'll send you someone that shows up. You don't have to do that, man, but I do appreciate it. Everybody's talking about the guacamole back here. Okay, let's run it back. Okie dokie. Let me tell you guys about the giveaway tonight one last time. We'll probably draw for it in the next 15 minutes or so, but we are not done. All right, we still have some Michter's 10 to get into. I'm feeling a little, I've had some whiskey tonight. The Elijah Craig kind of did it. But we have to get to the Michter's 10 barrel comparison. 2 different 2023 single barrels. We have to check that out before we get off here tonight. Let me tell you about the giveaway tonight. So let's run it down very quickly. 6 bottles on the table are being given away in samples. 2 different winners. Okay, so we have 2 winners tonight. We're not increasing it because I literally don't have enough whiskey or sample bottles to increase it. I'm sorry. So here's what we got. Michter's 10 2023 1 ounce. Old Forester Bottled and Bond 117 9-year 1 ounce. Heaven Hill Select Stock 9-year malt whiskey 1 ounce. Excuse me. Then 1 ounce of A123 Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. 1 ounce of B523 Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. 2 ounces of C923 Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And then 1 ounce each of 2 bottles that I do not yet have in my possession. I feel, I guess, a little weird advertising it, but they were just delayed. The mail has been delayed, so they're going to get here tomorrow. Baker's 13 Single Barrel 2023 release. Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 2. And that's 8 samples. I'll throw in a few extra bonuses in there too. I don't know what it's going to be, so I have no idea. I'll probably make it different for both people. That is the giveaway tonight. A pretty cool sample pack, I think. Cheech, thank you, dude. I was going to say, Cheech, if you won tonight and you got to Michter's 10, it probably wouldn't get there before Tuesday for you to open it before your stream. Yes, Michter's 10 all day for sure. But if you're going to go pure secondary value is where that gets a little more messy. Peter, I had what was it? I think it was a 2018. It was not very good, but I had one of the barrels of 2021 that I tried. I had 3 backups. I ended up getting rid of them, unfortunately. And actually, at this point, the 2023 is even better to my memory. But the 2021 that I had was really good. The 18 was not very good in terms of bourbon. Now, the 2018 rye that I had, like, lights out whiskey. So good. Mark Royland, what's up, dude? Take mine, too. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, guys, for the super chats. That is awesome. Okay. Let's go to the Michter's 10. I'm going to pour this Blanton's Gold back. I like Blanton's Gold. William, thank you for sending that. You know what might be interesting is to do a blind flight of the Blanton's Gold sample that you sent. The French Blantons, the Singapore Blantons, and a Blanton store pick. That could be a really cool blind flight video. Like, essentially 4 different proofs of Blantons. All of which the gold wouldn't have been a pick. But the French Blantons, the Singapore, and the store pick are all like picked by people. You know, not just a blanket thing. So that could be a cool blind flight. I might have to do that. Thank you, Cheech. Yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like button for the 118 people in here right now. That's awesome. Peter says Michter's 10 2017 was also just kind of All right. I haven't tried 2017 or anything earlier than that. Numinium says, I remember not long ago when you could buy several different Blanton straight from the barrel bottlings. Oh my God. On Master Vault for $99 plus 40 shipping. That's crazy. Numinium adding the name. The whiskey's taking over tonight. I'll add my name to that hat. Thank you, Numinium. And sorry for the the botched reading of your super chat. Thank you. Amy's got you in for 2. Scott Raper is in. Scott, thank you, man. Regular Jake, it's got to be sourced. It's got to be sourced. Smells like brown. Well, I won't say that yet. Scott, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is an awesome... I really, really appreciate it. And we've got another Venmo super chat in here from William Molnar, which is... You guys are just amazing. William Molnar in for another 10 entries to tonight's giveaway. And he says, pick... Let me refresh. He just says, buy some more sample bottles. William, let me see if I have the amount of whiskey I need to make this giveaway happen for 3 people. I'm going down the list. All right. We're going to have 3 giveaway winners tonight because William is donating to the sample bottle cause so heavily. Here's the deal, guys. 122 people in here. Give me 120 seconds. Give me 122 seconds for the number of people to go to the bathroom. I'm trying to hydrate. At least I was earlier tonight. I haven't been doing very well on the stream. 123 seconds in the restroom, and I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Listen to great music in the meantime. We only lost 8 people. That's pretty good. Jacob, dude, you said you weren't going to super chat. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. So speaking of Jacob, Jacob is, we're going to do 3 winners. I got to write that down. 3 winners. Speaking of Jacob, Jacob is the one who sent the Maker's Mark cellar-aged sample my way, which the video was out at this point about 3 hours ago or so. I'm going to have one more sip of the Maker's cellar-aged live with all of you. I'll keep the smallest little pour of this because I'm sure I'm going to need it later for some comparison or just something that comes up. I wish I had a bottle of this to give away samples with the giveaway tonight, but I just don't. And there's no way I can pay secondary for it, guys. But let's see what this is all about. One last time. I might have to just pour the rest of it out so I can get a better nose. All right. He doesn't shake or wash his hands. Actually, I do. Did I do sub 70 seconds? Dude, then I was peeing like a madman. I can't believe you timed it, Andrew. I don't know whether to be like weirded out by that. No. You know, sometimes you think things and then those thoughts go away, and that just happened to me. Oh, I was going to move this over. All right. Let's do this Maker's Cellar Aged second look after the review came out today. Oh, what's up, DC? We have a Whiskey Tube celebrity in the house. We have royalty in the house. So the first thing I smell on this Maker's on the Nose, cornbread. And I said that in my review. The first thing I get is a little youth. You know, in some ways, there's no relationship between the aroma, tasting note type, you know, profile between these things. But the Maker's cellar age reminds me of the Elijah Craig C923 in the sense that, like, the first nosing you get of it is a little underwhelming. You have to take a few sips and acclimate to it before you can appreciate it. Whereas, like, and that to me is maybe the difference between an outstanding whiskey versus a really good whiskey, is where, like, an outstanding whiskey you can just come up to, you can smell it one time and go, holy crap, that's ridiculous. And some of these other whiskeys, it just is a warming up period. I don't know if it's worth being picky between the two distinctions, really good to outstanding. But for me, it is worth noting that this one is like, you smell it and you go, okay, that's fine. And then now I come back to it, right? A little bit of that Maker's dairy thing in there, but it's not enough to freak me out. But it's like a brighter vanilla, cornbread, but at the same time, that dark berry thing in here. And leathery oak. Oh, on the palate, yeah. I think the palate's better than the nose. I really do. This is just kind of confirming what I said in my review. Yeah, and it just goes and goes and goes. Like, I could sit here and just stare at the camera or the screen or whatever, you know. I could sit and stare here for the next 45 seconds and this whiskey's going to continue going. That's crazy. So nose for me is just fine. It's better after you sip it. But the palate on this is awesome. And the finish with all of that leather and that funk. Man. It just continues getting better. And from a structural standpoint, if a whiskey is like that, where you nose it and you go, but then it continues getting better. By the end of the, sitting with that whiskey, you're sold on it. And that's how the Maker's cellar aged is. So I think that's why my review is all over the place. I would stand by that right now, tasting it. I'm going to pour the rest back into the sample. I would like to save this for another time. Jacob, thanks again for sending this. Oh, I spilled just a little bit on the table. 150, 175 price point. I don't love it. I said in the video that I would go up to 200 for my first bottle. That is as a whiskey enthusiast / I wouldn't call myself a collector, but somebody that likes to have special releases at least. I'll stand by that. But if somebody else out there is just like, $200 is your monthly budget on whiskey, which is a very reasonable monthly budget. This is not how I would spend that $200. But if you saw one of these, which we're going to go to now, if you saw this on the shelf for the SRP of $185, I would say spend your monthly budget on this. So that's where this difference comes in between this Michter's special release and some of the others that I think are really outstanding, like the Michter's, like Russell's 13. Baker's 13 to be determined when it arrives tomorrow. But it's really good whiskey. It's not outstanding whiskey. But it gets better as you sip it. All right, let me get a couple glasses off the table. And we're going to bring two more up for these two different barrels of Michter's 10-year bourbon 2023. All right, we've got another Venmo super chat from Mark Royland. Thank you, Mark. And I know I've got a few to get to here in the live chat. Mark Royland is in for 4, and he says, samples. Cheers. Cheers to you, man. Thank you, Mark. If I pick up rotten yogurt next time I have a pour of Maker's, I'm unsubbing. Well, I'll see you later. Regular Jake, to your intro on the makers and your first note on the nose, Fred said cornbread holds a special place in his heart. Interesting. Did Fred say that in his maker's review or just like a different review? All right, EBA 101 Boxing says, did someone say samples? There we go. Thank you for the super chat. And yes, somebody did say samples. Oh, Amy says, my Blanton's Gold has a funky feet smell on the nose. Maybe it's more prevalent than I thought. Just a one-off. Guy says, get some fresh guac. Thanks, man. Oh, I still have a little C919 sitting next to me. I'll save that for the end of the night. Jay, did you see Trev's review? No, man, I didn't. I haven't watched very many videos in the last week or so. Andrew says, appreciate the review on the cellar aged. I thought Fred was going to slip. Yeah, I know. I don't know Fred Minnick at all, and so I felt a little bit weird talking about him in the video without knowing him, without having ever spoken to him. And I hope that I didn't come off as like berating him or sounding like a dick in my video, because I wasn't trying to do that. But I did say something along the lines of like, it felt like Fred was having a religious experience when he was drinking that Makers. But I don't think that I hope that didn't come off negatively. I mean, he literally sat there in silence for a while. It did feel a little bit like a moment of silence. But yeah, like the response he had to that Makers, I feel after tasting it is a little disproportionate to what it is. So in my mind, then I say like, well, the word bias has such a negative connotation to it, but it is what it is. You know, I think he's biased towards it, and that's fine. Like, am I biased towards the Bourbon Junkies Virtue bottles? Yeah, a little. I like those guys. I think Dan and Sean are great people. I think I trust them to select the best single barrels of what they had at the time to bottle for those two. And I think they probably did it. And bias aside, one thing I have had to really wrestle with and think about and learn from with making videos in WhiskeyTube is that you never want, not that you never want, sometimes you want to, but there's never really a justifiable reason to just say, this is, like, let's just say, for instance, this is fucking terrible bullshit whiskey. These people suck. There's no reason to talk like that or to act that way. And I used to kind of have a little bit of that in me. I'm a person that's very opinionated. I got the fire in my belly sometimes. But why say that about a whiskey, right? When there are so many factors that go into whiskey making that are outside of a person's control. The distillation process is one thing. Like, you do have a lot of control over that process. Depends a lot on ingredients, on equipment, on scientific knowledge, a lot of factors, right? And then in the maturation process, though, there's a lot of nature that goes into that, and a lot of unspoken alchemy and unidentifiable, unquantifiable things that go into it. So why be disrespectful to people when it really is their livelihood on the other end of it doing it? Those people making it, it's their livelihood. Why? There's no reason to be like disrespectful about this. And I got on Reddit today. I don't ever get on Reddit, but I decided to look some things up about whiskey, and people were talking about that, about, well, who actually says it how it is? Oh, well, this person said that they don't want to give their honest opinion because there are people on the other end of it. But what about the people giving out their hard-earned money to buy these bottles? That's your choice. That's your choice to spend money on the bottle. That's different than the people earning their money from making that bottle. It's different. I'm sorry. You're the consumer. You're spending your money. I think that's different than the person making their living making that bottle, especially when there's outside factors. So there's just a lot of nuance to the subject, but I think we all, bringing this back to what I was saying about Fred and myself with the Bourbon Junkies, there's always a level of bias. There can't not be, unless it's completely blind. And what I said in the Makers video today is that even if you are 100% blind on things, you still in your mind, and I know I'm this way, you might assign a profile to something even if it's not what it is. I might taste a lot of really spicy red fruit notes, a little bit of floral, and I might go, that's probably Four Roses. And then I start judging it in my mind based on the 10 recipes I've tried, the different ages of them that I've tried, the various picks, the limiteds, and it might be a craft distillery. And then here I am comparing it to Four Roses. It's not fair. So there's always bias. Everything is contextual. Everything is a shade of gray. So sorry to rant on that, but yeah, I hope in my video I didn't come off as faulting Fred for being a little biased. I don't think that's a fault. But he begged hard, it sounds like, for this Maker's 12-year product, more or less, and it, he should like it. He wanted it, All right. Sorry, guys. 100% pure mustard. Yeah, you did miss a C923. Very good. Very good stuff. Buy one if you see it. So, regular Jake, I actually did not watch the entire Maker's review. I watched the whole beginning when he's just going hard, showing the video clips, talking about his history with it. I watched the very beginning of the review, and I was just like, I just pulled away, and I was like, I want to taste this before I watch this review. Because I watched him sip it, and he had that kind of moment of silence type thing, and I was like, I have to get away from this, because I don't want to be tainted. But, and I do that with everybody. Like, if Matt Porter right now has a review out of Double Eagle Very Rare, I have, from the exact same bottle, we both got this at Pours in the Park, I have half an ounce of Double Eagle Very Rare. And I was like, I cannot watch Matt's review of this because, I don't want to know his opinions. I just got to do this blind. So, for me, I really try to stay away from reviews 98% of the time before I record my own. Keith, I get a little bit of it, but not very much. Aiden, that's interesting, man. I have no issues with Fred, but I find no consistency. I actually agree because, and I would drill that down to one quality in particular that I could maybe back up, which would be oak. He talks about not liking a lot of oak in his whiskeys. But some highly oaked whiskeys, like some of the Old Fitzes he's reviewed, he's loved, and some other highly oaked whiskeys he's hated. So I do find that to be one inconsistency. We're all probably guilty of inconsistencies, I would say, in our reviews. But I do find that one to be an interesting one for Fred, where I know if he's talking about oak, I have to disregard his opinion on that. On other things, I have more of a regard for his opinion. But oak is just one of those things that I can't find consistency with him, so I have to just not listen to those parts. Noah, what's up? Hey, hopefully your samples get there maybe tomorrow or so. I shipped them the other day. Do you think Maker's cellar age is anywhere close to a William LaRue? No. I don't think so. I talked in my review about a moment where I thought, oh, that's a little George T. Stagg-like. But no, I don't think William LaRue is an apt comparison, unfortunately. Mike, I'm not going to put that on the screen, but that's hilarious. Travis, having something truly blind, not knowing what someone owns, and you have no idea what is in front of you, that gives you the best idea. Absolutely the best idea, but it's still prone to faults. Here's the thing, Travis. Let's take that to its logical conclusion in two different ways. Let's split that off. One is that there's an untrained, let's call it untrained. What does that mean? An untrained whiskey palate who doesn't know profiles in their head. But maybe let's say they might know whiskey pretty, like they know what they like, they know quality, but they don't know profiles. I don't know. Let me rewind, Travis. Let's say there's somebody who drinks whiskey, who an untrained palate doesn't know profiles, and they're going to drink something completely blind. They're going to have their preferences, right? But they're used to whiskey. They're used to the burn. Okay. But they don't have maybe the most sophisticated palate, because I think once you start developing your palate to a certain point, you start to learn the profiles. Just you can't help it. That's how it goes. That's how all the tastings that you do as you develop, that's how it works. You start to learn what Four Roses, Old Forester, Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey tastes like. So that person that doesn't know that will have an opinion about a blind. That's a very true opinion, but they might not have the best palate to determine that. I don't know. But once you start going far enough and you start learning those things, then you almost know too much about profiles to some degree, and then you can't help but assign it to the whiskey. So then who is more trustworthy in that situation? I don't know. I don't think there is a pure way to do this. There never really could be. KDP, thank you for the $20 super chat. And I love my Michter's 10 2023. Complexity from a sub 100 proofer is unmatched in my collection. We're going to do it right now. Tom Harper, Oak, does he bash Knob Creek? I haven't seen. I don't actually know, Tom. That's a good question. Mike says, I know my prior post was a little over the top with Fred, but I spent $200 on that Jack 12 because of how much I mean, to be fair, Mike, I'd spent $250. I wouldn't want to spend that again, but I actually would go $200 again on that bottle. I'd feel more comfortable at $150. I love Jack 12. I didn't see Fred's review of it, but that's interesting that you say that. All right, here we go. So we have two different single barrels of Michter's 10 in front of us. One I just bought on secondary for blah, blah, blah dollars. It is barrel 23A 0307. 23A 0307. I drank a lot of it last night, and it was very good. And then I wrote on a sticky note earlier the barrel that Joe W. sent me. He might still be in chat. He might not. 23A from the same dump date. Same bottling, I guess. They were both bottled in January of 2023. But this is 0293. So 0293 on the sample and 0307 on my bottle. So they are, I suppose, maybe 16 barrels apart if you subtract. So here we go. Let's go into mine first. These are both going to be same proof, which is 94.4 for Michter's 10 2023. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's just I'm gonna cry. Smelling this stuff is like, it's just some of the best whiskey. Man. All right. I'm going to focus on, I just wanted to go back and forth for a second. I'm going to focus on one of these. Greg McDonald. Cam, since you have stopped hating on certain releases. Damn, Greg. The people at Booker's Lumberyard would like another review. I unfortunately don't have that bottle anymore, so I can tell you I probably don't have very nice things to say about it still, though. Yeah. That one was tough for me. That one was tough. Joe, I can speak from personal experience. Hide that bottle from yourself. Yeah. I need to do that. I'm going to have Sarah taste it, and then I'm going to have to hide it from both of us. We're going to have to hire a third party. So how do you describe this stuff? The easiest way to describe it would be like, oh, this smells like a Dusty from the 90s. You know? I'm going to try to drill down on this as best I can. So I'm going to start with my bottle. First and foremost, This tastes very similar to the Michter's 10 that I had in 2021. There was one single barrel in particular, and I said it earlier in the stream. I had several backups of this single barrel, and I thought it was an outstanding single barrel. This smells like that did to my memory, but better. That single barrel, story time quickly, I put in a blind flight and I sent to Jason of the Mash and Drum when he was prepping for Matt Madness 2022. And I jumped on his stream and I had sent him this blind flight. Actually, I didn't send it to him. I literally dropped it at his front door one of those days. And I stayed on the blind flight and I went through that flight with him. And he didn't care for it very much. Like, he was like, it's good whiskey, but whatever. Same thing for my Lucky 7 Barrel 72, actually. 14-year. Which is a great bottle. But Jason wasn't a big fan of both of those that night. And the Michter's 10, he called out an acetone note on. And acetone is a note that you get on a lot of aged Brown-Forman products. And sometimes it's really in the background, but it is there, I promise. And this has it. That 2021 had it. King of Kentucky has it. So if I just smell this whiskey, I say this is a Brown-Forman product that's been proofed way down. Okay? Now, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but that's kind of what I do. So I'm gonna do it very quickly on this. If any of you have ever had any Chattanooga whiskey or any other craft whiskey that's used oats in the mash bill, there's a particular quality to an oat mash bill that you get. It's a little of this like kind of strange, funky, grainy, watery smell. I don't know how to describe it. You can also substitute that, or you can emulate that oat note by watering your whiskey down a little too far. So if you've ever put water in your whiskey and it gets a little too watery, that's what oat does to a mash bill. That's at least my experience. This Michter's, as great as it smells and as complex as it smells on the nose, it smells like it's been watered down just a little too far, and it has that watery oat kind of note to it. So yes, there's a dustiness to it, for sure. There's like this, the antique store note is there. It's very much a caramel-forward classic bourbon profile, but it has this watery oat vibe to it. It has this slight acetone in the background. There's a nice vanilla bean on it. A little menthol. I called that note earlier on, on an Old Forester Bottled and Bond 9-year, which is Brown-Forman. Yeah, so to me, this just smells like essentially King of Kentucky watered down. That's what this smells like. And it might not be Brown-Forman. I might be completely wrong on that. But that's what it smells like. That is so good. Damn. It's crazy that you can water whiskey down to 94.4 and still have this much of a like pronounced palate and this much complexity. That is something I've never come across before. I don't quite understand how they pack this much flavor into a 94.4 proof whiskey. That's pretty shocking. Mike, I've not had Kentucky Tea Batch. I really wanted to try it, but I never ended up getting a bottle or a sample of that one. And bottles for me on Booker's are a little risky now to spend $100 on. Peter White, interesting. Little Book 7 blend looked like it was all over the place, but that's interesting. Darrell, dude, what is up, man? You're going to make me pour some of my 2023. I knew as soon as you tried it the first time you'd be getting rid of that other batch. Yeah, exactly. And I did. Regular Jake talking about becoming friends with store owners. Here we go. Tom Harper. Cam, I agree with you. It's like music. The reality is that there's no inherent right and wrong when liking something like sweetness or oak or heavier mouthfeel. Opinion means we can't make it fact. Tom, I agree with you like 85%. I do think there are some there has to be objectivity to some degree in whiskey or else it doesn't function, right? by definition, there has to be, I think, some objective reality to it, just like anything. But I do think that subjectivity does play a very big part in it, and it's like, if I wanted to boil that down to a few examples, one would be, everybody's talking about how good this is. I think objectively this is really good whiskey, period. We might have subjective experiences with it or whatever, but objectively it's really good. Subjectively for me, I just don't like light whiskey. So people are like, here, try this Old Louisville 16-year. I'm like, I don't like it. It's light whiskey. I see why you like it, but objectively, I try to see why you like it, but I hate this profile. I do think objectivity has to play some part in this, you know? How can we quantify that? I don't think we really can. I don't think that's possible. God, Cheech, you have 2 different barrels? Dude. Oh, man, if I could get 2 of these things. I just, $375 a bottle of this on secondary. There's no way I could make this a daily drinker. Okay, let's see. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading chat. This is interesting that you guys both said this next to each other. Cheech first. Have you had Spirits of French Licks good Lord, Lee W. Sinclair? 4-grain whiskey with oats is the 4th grain. Cheech, this is one of the bottles I'm talking about, actually. Yes, I had a store pick of Lee W. Sinclair. Love to know what you think of it. Yeah, when I'm talking about this oat note, I am talking specifically about some Chattanooga bottlings I've had and some Spirits of French Lick bottlings I've had. So that's crazy that you say that. But yes, I have had it. And then Jeb actually talks about, I have PTSD from a Spirits of French Lick bottle that tasted like what I'd assume paper mache would taste like. Yes. To me, that is a little bit of that watery oak note. And Jeff was talking about it earlier, yeah. Okay, I'm going to scroll down, guys, just catch up. Keith, which pick did you have of the light whiskey from WAC? Andrew, all the secondary purchasing I do is on Facebook. And I probably shouldn't say more than that right now, but... All right. So, I'm going to go on to now this other barrel. Let's see what what's the Venn diagram between these 2 barrels of Michter's 10 2023. Okay. Let's see. Let's do the giveaway at 10:40 Eastern Time, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's just about 10 minutes from now. Okay. This sample of Michter's 10 2023 bourbon that Joe sent actually has a little more flavor concentration than the bottle that I have here. The bottle that I have is great. But Joe's is even darker and even richer. Yeah. What's nice about this is that both of these have the same base profile. I would say about 80% of the profile of these whiskeys is identical. You can tell it's from the same place, whatever distillery it's sourced from. You can tell it's the same product and the same proof. Sometimes even at the same proof, different single barrels can display different characteristics, different amounts of spice. These feel very similar 80% of the way. But Joe's is even darker. And a little less of that watery oak note that I talked about as being like an oak grain feel in the mash bill. And his is more dark chocolate. More just dark, rich caramel, dark chocolate, espresso. More full flavored. This is Joe's barrel easily wins out over my barrel, but they're both outstanding whiskeys. Yeah, that Joe, man, that barrel is nuts. Black cherry in there. Black walnut liqueur, which we get in Ohio from Watershed Distillery. We have this black walnut liqueur. Oh, God. Crazy. Tim Tam Slam. I gotcha. I got you in for 2 from Venmo. Thank you very much. That is awesome. I appreciate it. And he says, razzle dazzle. There we go. All right, Matt Porter's in here. What's up, dude? Regular Jake, happy to send you 2 ounces of Kentucky tea. Guys, this is for you, Jake, and for anybody else in the chat. If you ever want to, like, you know, samples and stuff like that, the best way to do it is to just email me, drumsanddrams@gmail.com, and we can talk there about it. That's, yeah, best way to get in contact with me for that kind of thing. Yeah, Matt, I've got a C923. Yeah. All right, Joe, I got to pour the rest of your sample back on this Michter's 23. I'll probably save it for maybe just a rainy day or possibly a review video. All right. Very cool. What else do we have tonight, guys? We have got the giveaway we're going to do in about 7 or 8 minutes. I'm going to sip on this Michter's 10 while we figure this out. Baker's 13 is going to be here tomorrow. It's in the giveaway. Same with Jack Daniel's 10 Batch 2. Let's do this one. Let's do a little Heaven Hill Select Stock. It's going to be hard to go to this after the Michter's 10, but we're going to do it. I know I've said this a lot tonight, and I'm sorry to be a broken record, but I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. We've had a great turnout tonight. It's been a really fun stream for me. Great whiskeys, and I appreciate all your support. And to see, for most of the stream, a number over 100 viewers on a given Thursday night is really cool for me. So thank you. And I'll just give you a last reminder before we get off here, which is probably going to be the next 20 to 25 minutes or so, that I've been more active on the channel, and I've got a lot of review videos out and different things we're doing. The Maker's Cellar Aged review went out a few hours ago. The Virtue Spirits Bourbon Junkies Rye and Bourbon Single Barrel No. 1. That review is out. Jack Daniel's 12-year. A new series called Whiskey Ware. Check that out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And more to come, of course. Jack M says, you ever had any of the Jim Beam Signature Craft Harvest Collections? No, I have not. Aiden, I remember when it was me and your music friend. Yeah, man. Andrew, after that Michter's 10 review, I think we should have a quick... Cheech, the Rye No. 1 is just crazy, dude. Crazy. I think I need to get a fresh glass for this Heaven Hill. Oh, God. It's one of those nights. All right. Adam Olson is in. He says, yup. Thank you, Adam. Okay. We've got about 4 minutes left on the giveaway. Let me give you the final reminder of what tonight's giveaway entails for the sample pack. We have 3 winners tonight. because we've had such a great turnout. And William Molnar says, buy more sample bottles. So we're going to do that. We're going to have 3 winners tonight. And I'll just give you one last rundown of what those people are going to receive for tonight. 1 ounce, Michter's 10 Bourbon 2023. 1 ounce, Old Forester 117 Bottled and Bond 9-year. 1 ounce of what I'm about to taste, the Heaven Hill Select Stock Malt Whiskey. 1 ounce each of 2 bottles that are going to arrive tomorrow. Baker's 13 2023 Single Barrel and Jack Daniel's 10-year Batch 2. And then an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Flight, 1 ounce of A123, 1 ounce of B523, and 2 ounces of the brand new C923. So that's 8 samples, and then I'll throw a few extra goodies in there. Each person is going to get 1 or 2 extra samples of just something that I like, some good whiskey in the room. And I promise it's always going to be good whiskey. I'm not going to, I'm not going to shell out things that I don't want to drink myself. The best part of this is sharing great whiskey. So there you go. That's going to end at 10:40 p.m. Eastern, which is probably 2.5 minutes from now. And then we'll draw for that. And then we're going to check out this Heaven Hill Select Stock malt whiskey. Brian says, 1 shot, 1 kill. Give me the whiskey. There we go. There we go. All right. How many people in the chat have tried the rare character, either the 9-year malt whiskey, the 11 or 11.5 malt whiskey, or the 14.5? How many people in the chat have tried any of those rare character malt whiskey expressions, 9, 11, or 14-year? Let me know, because I had the opportunity on a stream maybe 2 or 3 months ago to taste through those in a blind flight. And I believe those things are sourced from Heaven Hill, as far as I can tell. I need to go back and look at what the mash bill is on the rare characters, actually. Let me do that quickly. Oh. Well, it's actually different. Okay, this is not exactly what I thought. Let's do this. One more Google search. Parker's Heritage Malt Whiskey Mash Bill. Okay. I thought I was crazy. The rare character 9, 11, and 14-year, give or take a few months, those malt whiskeys that are sourced have a 65% malt, 35% corn mash bill. And I remember, hearing about this, that the Parker's Heritage Collection malt whiskey from 2015 also has a 65-35 mash bill. But this, from Heaven Hill Select Stock, this mash bill is only 51% malt, not 65. 51 malt, so it's enough to be called a malt whiskey, and 49 corn. So it's less malt, more corn in this, and it is 9 years age stated. And it smells delightful. It smells very good. It's very sharp on the nose, but not in an ethanol way. It's just sharp in the flavor notes, which is really strange. The proof on this is 119.3, so not a very high proof, all things considered. It's interesting. I might have to do a little comparison to round out this live stream. Giveaway we're going to cut off now. We're going to cut off the giveaway, and thank you, Guy, I think, for the final super chat of the night. Great stream, one more entry. And I think Amy's got you in there. Yep, she does. And Tom Harper's in there for another one. Andrew, if I could just go get a case of those. Matt, are you talking about the only thing that I know? Like, I can't imagine what Ryan Alves brought to Pours in the Park. The only thing I remember is when he dropped off a 15-year Purple Top Willet. That was the best whiskey I had probably of the weekend. Are you talking about Heaven Hill Select stock, or are you talking about Rare Character? Okay, we're going to do the giveaway in just a second, and then we're going to get into a breakdown of this Heaven Hill Select stock alongside a pick by Matt Porter, actually, because of the high malt content. I had this ready to go thinking it might be relevant, and I think it is going to be relevant. So, okay. Let me check Venmo one last time and PayPal. We're good on the old Venmos. And PayPal, we are good. So, Amy, I'm good on my end, and it looks like everything's great. So, here's what we're going to do, guys. I will share my screen. You're going to have about 2 to 3 minutes to, if you want to, check in on your entries, you can do that. And if you see any mistakes, you can let us know. We will correct those. Otherwise, KDP is in for 2 more. Let's get those in there, Amy. Thank you, KDP. Michter's 10 and Jack Daniel's 12. Brown Foreman's temperature-controlled Ricks figured out low proofers. Yeah. All right. Let's take the banner away. We got KDP in there now. Okay, I'm going to copy this. We always spin 7 times, and the first, top 3 are going to be the winners tonight. But before we spin it, I'm going to zoom out on my screen and then share my screen with all of you. Okay, I guess we're going to have to do this. There we go. All right. I'm going to edit one of these names. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen now, and take 2 or 3 minutes, guys, and verify your entries on the screen. Basically, the deal is in the blue column, you can see my cursor on the screen. In the blue column on the very left is your name. Next to it is your number of entries for a given super chat. So if you super chatted 3 times, your name will appear 3 times. It's not all going to be grouped into one. So if you did 10, 10, and 10, that's 2 entries each time. You're going to see your name 3 different times and the number 2 next to it, and that generates into this list over to the right. Okay? So that's the way that this works. So Every week somebody says, hey, I had 5 entries, but they had 3 and 2 at different times instead of 5 all at once. So just check it over. Take a few minutes. I'll be very small on the left side of the screen for now. And we have everybody in there from Super Chats, including Venmos and PayPals. And I just want to say again, thank you all. We've had a ridiculous turnout the last 3 weeks on the live streams, for the giveaways, for everything. And it's awesome. I feel very blessed. I'm going to pour out while I'm talking. I'm going to grab another glass and pour out Matt's Boulder Spirits pick, ADHD whiskey. So we'll take another 2 minutes on this screen. So until 10:47 Eastern Time. Amy, thank you for tracking giveaways again tonight. The majority of them. This is awesome. I like the split thing is, this works out well for me to do those and you to do the public ones. Whenever you're available, this is awesome. And any other time, I'm happy to do it solo, but this is great. Okay. Let's see. Sounds like we're good, guys. So we're going to do a Heaven Hill Select Stock Comparison 9-year to Matt. Hey, Matt, if you're still in here, what is the age on your Boulder Spirits pick? Before we do this comparison, what is your age? Do you know the age on this pick? I would love to know. All right, we're going to shut this down now, and we're going to... Actually, I need to leave it up. We're going to go to random.org. Everybody's name is in here already. We're going to roll this 7 times, and the top 3 are going to win. And if you do win tonight's giveaway, you have to email me. I'll put it on the screen now. drumsanddrams@gmail.com with your name and your address and your username if it's different than your name. And let me know you won tonight. Here we go. 1. Nope, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here comes... Okay, 6 did not take. Here we go, 6. And now lucky number 7. Top 3 are going to win. Boom. Joe, Michael Schneider, and EBA 101 Boxing. So I'm going to take a picture on my screen right now for you guys. Thank you all again for entering the giveaway. I really appreciate it. Joe, I've got your info. But the other 2 guys, email me, drumsanddrams@gmail.com with your name and address. And congratulations to those winners, and thank you all so much for getting in on those giveaways. Matt says that his Boulder Spirits pick is 6 years old compared to a 9-year Heaven Hill. So, okay. Mash Bill is very close. I want to say... I think this is 4... I got to peel the sticker back a little bit, Matt. Sorry, I got to peel your face back on the bottle. There we go. 44% malted barley, 5 rye, and 51 corn. So it's almost the exact same mash bill, just 5% malted barley in the Boulder, and there's no malted barley in the Bardstown. Congratulations, guys, on winning the giveaway. Let's do this Heaven Hill Select Stock comparison very quickly. And thank you to my friend Kyle who got this bottle for me down in Bardstown the other day. It's a really cool gift. Really, really cool. So I'm wrestling in my head with the best way to describe the profile of this malt whiskey from Bardstown. If I say that it smells extremely granular, extremely textured, I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, this is like, it's like eating crumbs. Like when you eat crumbs of a cookie, it's like you're eating granular things, and it's very cookie-like and chocolatey, and that's the best way I can describe the nose on this Bardstown. It's dark. It's bittersweet, heavy on the bitter. Very spicy. So mostly bitter, a little sweet, very spicy. Smells over its 119.3 proof. But it smells good. It's just completely different than what you're used to. Wow. That is like a ballsy whiskey. And it's just as textured on the palate as it smells on the nose. It's like a asphalt chocolate chip cookie, but very textured. very granular, and like the feeling on your tongue. If you guys have ever had like sugar in the raw packets and you've ever just like put it on your tongue, and it's very granular. It's like that's the texture on the palate of this. But so much cinnamon that it's just absurd. It's, to me, this is like a Christmas whiskey. I want to drink this at Christmas time. I can't say I've ever had anything really quite like it. So, it's cool. Now let's go to Matt's pick. So this was 119.3. Matt's is 136. Big proof bump, but we're going down 3 years in age. And Matt's pick is actually a little more well-rounded. More ethanol for sure at 136. But a little more vanilla. A little mintiness in this one, actually. The Heaven Hill is just so dark and granular that maybe Matt's pick doesn't have a lot of mint if you don't have this comparison next to it. But the malt qualities are similar. Wow. Matt's pick has a little funky fruit to it, like overstewed pineapple and pear. And green apple peel. There's a tangy green apple peel in there. So traditional bourbon lovers in this flight might like the Heaven Hill Select stock a little bit more because it's darker just all the way around. But Matt's pick from Boulder Spirits is actually more well-rounded because there's a fruit note on the top of it. Yes, it might be more rough around the edges in terms of age and proof, but Heaven Hill Select Stock 9-year is more rough around the edges just in terms of profile. So it's an interesting comparison. I have not had anything like these two whiskeys, really, in the last couple years. And to see these coming out, to see the rare character malt whiskeys being sourced and being so good, especially the 9 and the 14. The 11 was not so great with the lowered proof. But there's a lot of potential in these malt whiskeys with a high corn content, especially. Yeah, good stuff. All right, I think that's going to do it, guys. Jason Watson, need to watch the replay. But did you give notes on C923? I did. Last pour is going to be C923. Guys, this is just kind of a public service announcement. If you ever have the chance to buy a Boulder Spirits bourbon pick, especially that, I don't know if all of it is high malt in the mash. This is 51 corn, 44 malt, 5 rye. If that's the case for all of these, and you get the chance to buy a cask strength pick of Boulder Spirits, just buy it. Do not hesitate. I'm sure it's not going to be marked up too much because it's not some legacy brand with a special release. 60, 70, 80 bucks for this bottle. I think it's a fair price, I don't know what I paid for this from Matt, Bourbon Outfitters, but I think it's great stuff. And it's different, and not different for different sake. It's actually in a quality way of being different. Travis, does the back of the label say 2? No, Matt said it was 6. So, the label actually says aged for 5 years, but Matt says 6, and they probably just didn't change the label on it because it's a single barrel. All right, so Jason Watson, notes on C923. I did give him. I'll have one final sip of it here. Yeah, it's just a caramel bomb, and like that little caramelized burnt orange note, and just oak, just a lot of kind of funky oak, a little sweet oak, but mostly a funky oak. It's not a complicated whiskey, but what it does very well. And the 133 proof is a welcome return to a higher proof Elijah Craig barrel proof. And right now, a little inebriated. The C923 is outstanding. So I got to find a backup of this stuff. I got to get a review video shot probably tomorrow if I can. And that's going to do it, guys. So Matt says it is their bourbon mash bill. The high malt is Boulder Spirits thing. And it did hit 6 before bottling. So thank you all for being here. 90 still left at the time that we're going to wrap this stream up. If you're still hanging out tonight, if you're on the YouTubes, check out some of the recent review videos on the channel. The Whiskey Ware, High West Burai, the Makers that I put out a few hours ago, the Jack Daniel's 12, the Virtue Spirits. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that super chatted, for hanging out, for supporting the channel. Congrats to the winners tonight. And that's going to do it. So I'll see you guys in a video probably before, well, most definitely before next Thursday night stream. We will have a stream at the regular time next Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to do it. So cheers. I'm going to try to get Trev on soon, and I'm going to try to get Nancy Fraley on soon. And Matt Porter. We need to figure out when we're going to do maybe a little test behind the scenes. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Cheers, and thank you.